Hello, this is Clean Coach Carly, and I am the staff nutritionist for Healthy Habits Living. And today I'm talking about digestion. That can be an uncomfortable topic, and in fact, people have uncomfortable digestion. Millions of people suffer from digestive disorders, whether you're talking about occasional GERD or acid reflux, all the way up to Crohn's or having part of your colon removed. About 16% of the US population reports that they suffer from IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Irritable bowel syndrome doesn't have a test that you can take to show that you have it. The symptoms are varied and sometimes nebulous. Sometimes they can be triggered by foods, but other times it can be triggered by lifestyle or stress or many other things. I think that IBS is probably underdiagnosed. I think people don't like to talk about these uncomfortable symptoms, and so they don't bring them up to their doctors. I was diagnosed with IBS in my mid-20s, but I had been suffering from various symptoms of IBS at least since I was a teenager and maybe even before. I think it's something that you just kind of get used to and put up with, or maybe you just don't know that that's what it's called and that there might be some possible interventions. So like I said, there is no test or way to necessarily identify that you have IBS, and there really isn't a known cure for IBS. But one of the things that is known to cause IBS and is really being talked about more and more is SIBO, small intestinal bowel overgrowth. And I remember learning about this and about the small intestines when I was back in school, like 10 years ago. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, that is exactly what is wrong with me. The thing about that SIBO, small intestinal bowel overgrowth, is that it's very hard to diagnose, and it's even harder to get rid of. And so if you've done any amount of research, you know that small intestinal bowel overgrowth can be caused by, well, it is caused by small intestinal bowel overgrowth. So you have bacteria, whether it's good or bad, in the small intestines, and it's overgrown. And so it's causing you symptoms every time you eat. Some of the conventional treatments are antibiotics, along with diet change. And even then, we have people that have rebound cases all the time. So I was particularly interested in this new supplement I found, Atrantil. Now, there are tons of supplements that are geared towards SIBO. Most of them, though, are either going to be probiotics to try to balance out the good bacteria in there or change the ratio. There's other ones that are helpful for soothing the small intestine lining because it's irritated by the bowel overgrowth or the bacterial overgrowth. And then there are some that are herbal combinations that are aimed at killing all the bacteria, really, that is in there and trying to start fresh and new again. So Atrantil is approaching it from a different angle. And that's why I was so interested to learn about it and to try it myself. So the formula starts with peppermint. Now, peppermint, we know, is a soother. It's a tummy soother. Peppermint tea and peppermint oil, we already know, helps to soothe. So it does just that. Peppermint extract will soothe the cells in your small intestine. So if they are inflamed or irritated from bacterial overgrowth, peppermint is going to help soothe that. The second ingredient is the one that's really interesting, and it's called Cubrocco Extract, or Cubrocco. It comes from a tree in South America, Cubrocco tree. And Atrantil, as of this time right now, is the only company using this Cubrocco extract. So it comes from the bark of a tree in South America. And what it does is it binds to hydrogen molecules in your small intestines. So we all have hydrogen in the small intestines. But if you have too much hydrogen because of too much bacteria, you're going to end up making a lot of methane gas. And methane gas is what causes that bloating and the distended belly and the pain, and then later on gives you gas and farts at the other end. So the Cubrocco extract is the really novel and interesting one in there. So it binds to the hydrogen, so you can't make as much gas. The final ingredient also has to do with gas, and it is horse chestnut. Now, horse chestnut, it doesn't bind to hydrogen, but it actually shuts down production of methane. So maybe you're going to produce a little methane, but not as much as you normally would if you weren't taking the Atrantil. So this was studied in 2 medical studies in 2015 and 2016. And not all supplement formulas can say that, so to have this involved in a medical study is pretty impressive. What both of the studies found is that over 80% of the participants found relief from the Atrantil. 80%. That's pretty impressive stats for a supplement or a medication for that matter. So this formulation is best taken low and slow. I always recommend low and slow because if you are shutting down some of the molecules and the hydrogen and the methane in the body, you are going to have a little bit of a die-off reaction of the overgrowth of the bacteria in your small bowel. So I recommend starting low and slow. So with 1 capsule, 1 to 2 times per day, and then going up to 1 capsule 2 to 3 times per day, and then working your way up slowly all the way up to 2 capsules 3 times per day. And you really need to give this a fair chance. So between 10 days and a month, titrating up and getting a good dose to see if you're going to get those results. Now, if your IBS is due to SIBO, and the SIBO is due to bowel overgrowth, which it is, you will really get some relief from those symptoms. So again, you've got to give it, 10 to 30 days, so at least 20 days, and work your way up slowly. And then if you get that relief, you can slowly titrate down to more of a maintenance dose. So if you are one of the millions of people that suffers from digestive disorders, believe me, I feel you. IBS, SIBO especially, seem to be rampant and very hard to deal with. And so Atrantil is really a novel angle at approaching and dealing with that. As always at Healthy Habits Living, we are here to help you get healthy so you can stay healthy and be healthy.